Welcome to the table. It's 7:45, tell your neighbor. It's about time for everyone to speak. DC speaking up for the people every week. It's 7:45, let me holler at you. Podcast.
Welcome to the table. It's DC with the 745 podcast, and today's conversation is called Beyond the Chair: What Schools Can Learn from Entrepreneurs. When most people think about education, they think about classrooms, report cards, and diplomas. But education is also confidence, it's entrepreneurship, it's learning skills that create opportunities. Today's guest has built a career helping people look their best, feel their best, and pursue their goals with confidence. But before we get started, we have a quick Did You Clock That? Many of today's fast-growing careers are skill-based professions that don't always require a traditional four-year degree. Career and technical education programs continue to grow across the country as schools seek new ways to prepare students for high-demand industries. The question isn't whether students need education. The question is what kind of education best prepares them for the future. Today's guest is Debria Chavis. Debria is a professional hairstylist, entrepreneur, educator, mother, and community advocate. She is also the owner of Edgy Styles. Today we're talking about value, voice, opportunity, and creativity. Debria, welcome to the table. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing good.
So, first of all, Debria is the one that keep me right. All right. I've been knowing her about as long as my locks, and that's quite some time. And we have a lot of conversations at the shop. She actually is one of the first ones that heard about, my aspirations to have the podcast, and have good conversations that could help other people thrive and so on and so forth. So I'm excited to have her. She's probably nervous.
Very.
But, it's cool. We're going to do our thing. So before we get into hair and chair and business, who is Debria and what experiences have shaped the way you see the world today?
Okay.
Who are you?
Okay, well, first off, I'm a mom, daughter,
Yeah.
I'm a sister, I'm a lot of things. I'm a friend, so.
Yeah. So, I think that you also have to include your business, right?
Yes, I'm a business owner. I play a lot of roles.
Okay. And I want to ask you, how has your business, being a mother, being a daughter, and all those things, how has that guided the way that you do your job?
I think more so it pushes me because I know that I have people counting on me.
Yeah.
So, therefore, I just utilize the skill that God gave me.
Yeah.
And, try to make it work for me the best way I know how.
Yeah. So we have what's called a 745 scenario, and I'm going to read a scenario, and you give me your answer, okay? And those who are watching on YouTube, you have an opportunity to answer. Go ahead and comment down below in the comments. All right. So you only have 1 minute to convince a team of educators or a school that entrepreneurship and trade careers deserve just as much attention as a college pathway, okay? So you're in front of a board of people, and you're at a school campus or even a college, and you're saying, hey, I want you to take entrepreneurship and trade careers more seriously. What are you going to tell them?
So I'll probably start off by telling them that, everybody doesn't meet the requirements that certain jobs have. So therefore, it's okay to make your own way and still be successful in that route. So I'll put emphasis on that. And it's okay to be original, creative. You never know what each person to come up with. We all individual and, creative. So,
Okay.
yeah.
When we talk about your journey into hairstyling, right, we know that actually being able to style hair and actually running a business is two different things,
Yes.
right? And so over time, how have you seen those differences, and what have you done to educate yourself and not just becoming a person who does hair, but building a brand?
Ooh, that one's tough. Because so it's easy to get in my zone and just say, okay, I'm about to go to work and
Yeah.
I'm about to do hair. But the hard part comes in where, you need other skills. You need people skills. You got to know how to communicate. You got to know how to solve problems and so many things like that. You got to know how to manage your money. So it's like I have to be my receptionist. I have to be my financial advisor. I have to be a counselor because a lot of
Wow.
people sit in my chair and they carry a load that they're looking for me to uplift. So
Yeah.
yeah, I play a lot of roles in that area, and that's where it kind of gets challenging.
Yeah. And Debria, you're not lying. I've sat in your chair many times and we've had many conversations.
Yeah.
And I think that people come to your chair not only to look good, but to feel good afterwards.
True.
And, I think that you're right. There is a skill set in being able to talk to people. I think that when we add that to the skill of customer service, I think it's undervalued, right?
Right.
And, you can look good coming out of a room and feel horrible with the experience. And so I do believe from experience that you have provided that, for me and for the people that, you serve on a daily basis. How did you get into hairstyling though?
Okay, so I grew up in the salon. My mom is a hairstylist. My aunt, my cousins, like they have a establishment. They have a salon and a supply store together, and just being raised in the shop, seeing it, being around it, it just became natural.
Yeah.
And I just kind of self-taught myself on my Barbie dolls, you know.
Yeah. And they're tying up wire.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So when did you realize that this goes from more than an influence from family to this is the route that I'm going to go?
When I started making money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When was that? Like high school or?
So before I became a stylist, I was an assistant.
Okay.
And like I tell a lot of people, you got to crawl before you walk.
Mm.
So that was me crawling.
Yeah.
I worked for about 10 different stylists, and, I had people like just watching to see like, oh, she know what she doing.
Yeah.
Once they trust me and shampooing their hair, next thing you know, they was like, well, what else could you do? And then when it came to that part, I was like, all right, now I got to show my skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, they started asking me to do like braids. So then I started off as a braider. And then, after that, again, what else could you do? And
Yeah.
it just started going up from there.
Yeah, those experiences are something that you can't buy.
Right.
Yeah, and it is something to behold when you're forced to be better. Because now
Definitely.
you like, it's imposter syndrome, right? You're like, I don't really know how to do that, but I'm going to look it up and figure it out.
I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah.
YouTube University. Here I come.
For real. Now, speaking of university, how did education play a part in this? Because you were still in school when you were doing this.
Right. So that's why I started off as a braider. First I started off as a shampoo tech, of course, then a braider, but I couldn't do the real stuff, like to get the real money, because I needed a license. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, let me go get my license.
Mm-hmm.
So when I had the opportunity to do that, I did, and that's when I upped my game.
Yeah. When we talk about like your K through 12 school though, like did you feel that it hindered you, helped you? Did you feel like it was just another thing you had to get out the way to get to the money? Like, how did you feel when you were in school?
I wouldn't say it hindered me. I would say school was actually a great experience for me, because it taught me how to deal with different type of people, of course, because, you're going to public school, you're talking to people.
Yeah.
And it also taught me how to create a routine, because, school, you take in at this time, you get out at this time, you got to go. So I think it kind of put emphasis on, like, helping, us get ready for the real world. Because if you're going to be doing a job, you have to be consistent in order to be successful. So, yeah.
I think that's an interesting perspective because, I think when we talk about, like, your career being impacted by your experience in schools, we fail to look at the details like you just stated.
Mm-hmm.
Can you handle adversity? Can you handle the different personalities? Can you keep a schedule? And all of those are like huge parts of owning a business.
Right.
And if you don't know how to do those things, there's something to be said about how you were taught in school and just as a child to begin with. Do you think that schools, if we're talking about academics, prepare students enough for entrepreneurship?
I feel like they do in a way because, we need the basics. And anything that you're going to do, you're going to need to know math. You're going to know how to read. You got to know how to read.
Yeah.
You can't do nothing if you don't know how to read, for
Yeah.
real. And, I mean, for in that aspect, yeah, as far as like teaching us how to manage our finances and stuff like that, they could have went in a little bit more about that because that's kind of where like, it gets a little tricky,
Yeah.
Because anybody could pretty much open up a business, but to keep it going
Yeah.
is the key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I personally believe that there's a lot more that education can do in that area.
Yeah.
And I've said it before that I believe once you know the basics, it's time for application. And I personally would like to see schools do CTE or career training classes a lot earlier than high school.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
I know in middle school you learn how to sew a little bit, learn how to cook a little bit. That was cute.
Yeah.
But like really prime those primary students into thinking, okay, if I don't go to college or if I don't go to a university, am I not meant to do something else? And can I?
Yeah, because it was a lot of pressure on the college situation, like especially for me, because I actually did go look at colleges, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, should I go here? Should I go there? I actually went to some, but it wasn't my path.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about it do you believe, gave you that epiphany? Like when you win, you say, you know what, this ain't it. What specifically made you make that decision?
Just being unsure.
Okay.
Like not really knowing and don't want to get in too deep and be one of those that got this degree but you're not using it. Now you in debt.
Yeah. I know a little bit about that one. She calling me out.
I ain't sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. And that's what we do here. Because I think that we could save a lot of students if we chose to be honest with them and say, socially, just because you did not go to a university doesn't mean that you're less than, doesn't mean you can't make a lot of money. You got people who are billionaires, they ain't got an ounce of college.
Yep.
And it's all about applying to me those basics and having a skill set on how to manage money, deal with people,
Right.
emotional regulation and stuff like that.
And be real with yourself. If you know you don't like to read and be in school,
Yeah.
don't put yourself through that.
Yeah. Talk more about being real with yourself. When we talk about Debria, when Debria looks at herself in the mirror, she's riding in the car by herself. What does being real with herself look like?
Just knowing what I want to do for real. Like, I know it's certain things, it's going to have my attention probably this much. And then it's going to lose it.
Yeah.
And so far, that's been a job.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
When we talk about entrepreneurship, we know that you're a mother,
Yes.
and you own your own business. And when we talk about that field, because I consider entrepreneurship a field, no matter what
Yes.
you're doing, how does that impact your family life, especially surrounding time?
It's so hard. It's difficult because with the 9 to 5, I would say, at least when you're getting off.
Yeah.
With me, I never really know when I'm getting off. And some people can say, oh, well, you need to manage your time probably better. And,
Right.
so you could get off at this time. But when you in that shop, something's going to go on that you least expect. You never know what type of issues you might come across. You might run out of a product. You might have somebody come in and need more than what they requested.
Yeah.
So you never know what you're going to run into. But the goal is to get the job done.
Yeah.
So sometimes it be setbacks, and my kids kind of like getting the back end of the stick, and I hate to say it like that, but it's the truth. Because if I could get off at let's say 3-4 o'clock, I'll be at home with my kids, making sure that they're doing everything in a timely manner as far as preparing for the next day and stuff like that.
Yeah. Part of this podcast is to highlight just that.
Yeah.
Because I do think there is a conflict of interest when it comes to teacher, parent, and student, because a teacher perspective says, where is mom? Right?
Yeah.
The mom is saying, I'm busy, handle that,
Yeah.
because you don't know. And then the student is like, I don't want to piss mama off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or I don't want to have a bad grade, or I don't know. So it's kind of like an empty space there. And when you have your own schedule, and your schedule is something that you can't predict all of the time, I think if the teacher or the school doesn't understand that creates some tension. Have you had an encounter with a teacher, that was negative or something that was undesirable because of your schedule?
Absolutely. Just, I guess, just calling me about little stuff.
Yeah.
And I say little stuff like, yeah, I can understand. Like, let's say you call me and you say, hey, your son's talking too much in class. Stuff like that bothers me.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's like, kick him out. That's what they used to do when I was in school.
Get him out of here.
Get him out of there.
Yeah.
It's only so much I can do over the phone. I'll be like, hey, you better, like, come on now, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
I can't do
Got a
nothing.
hot comb in one hand and a.
Because at the end of the day, he still got all that time before mama get home.
By that time, it didn't left.
He sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, the parent conferences and the open houses and stuff like that,
Yeah.
schools really get mad, and teachers get upset because they feel like on their end, they're staying extended hours to connect with a parent. Now, on the flip side of that, not every teacher is looking to connect with a parent for positivity. Like, they can't wait for parent conference because I'm going to get on so-and-so and I'm going to finally talk to your mama.
Yeah.
Have you had encounters where that was the opposite, where there were good calls and stuff like that interrupted your day?
Barely.
Yeah.
Barely. Also, I would like to say that sometimes I felt like a lot of things that they announced were last minute. And, in my eyes, I'm like, y'all supposed to be organized. So to tell me at the last minute, open houses next week, as an entrepreneur who books open up 30 days in advance, it's kind of like,
Yeah, y'all
you put me in
behind.
you put me in a tough position.
Yeah.
So I feel like if y'all gonna have a calendar and it has all these other events on there, have that already kind of set in stone too. If you
Yeah.
know when school start, you should
Yeah.
already know when the open house gonna be.
Yeah. I've worked at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different schools, and each school presents their calendar different. Some
Yeah.
schools are very organized in that matter, and some, first day of school, you finally getting something.
Exactly.
If you could choose like one thing as advice to a school or a district to say, hey, if you want to see more of me, if you want me to participate more in this area, do this.
Let me start out by saying this. I tried to participate in stuff and I don't really like that because they be ready to throw stuff on me that ain't got nothing to do with my child.
Would you like to bake some cookies too for the staff?
No, how about do you want to volunteer and do X, Y, and Z?
Yeah.
Now you got the problem kids in your circle, and I'm like, hold up.
I ain't signed up for all of this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would probably just say, I just feel like just be organized. Be organized and think about the parents that don't have the regular 9 to 5, and so that way we could make it, because sometimes it make the kids feel left out if we're not there. And it's not that we don't want to be there, but like I said, if it ain't organized enough, we can't.
I always thought that schools never really took advantage of the different careers that parents had.
Absolutely not.
And besides having those whack career days, where people come and say, yeah, this is what I do for a living, and this is cool. And
Never seen a hairstylist.
Never seen a hairstylist.
Never seen a hairstylist.
If an opportunity for you to do that came about, would you be on board with that?
Absolutely.
You see, y'all heard that?
Absolutely.
So all your schools, your districts, your campuses, all y'all, invite more hairstylists. No, I'm just playing.
Please.
It's not just hairstylists, but take advantage of these cool careers that people are living, and you might highlight a kid, that you're struggling with, and they find a passion, and you can connect with them that way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because, it's a lot of kids that I done been around, and they look up to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not really doing nothing.
Yeah.
But in their eyes, I'm doing a lot, So you just never know what impact you have on the next person.
Yeah. And kids are really good at connecting with that person looks like me.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I got the locks and everything like that, and I'm tall. I come in there, and they say, oh, he look cool. He got on Jordans.
Exactly.
And it's like, cool. So I kind of already got them before I say something now.
Exactly.
What I say after that to keep their attention is something else. But kids are very aware and intuitive about who looks like me and who doesn't.
Exactly.
When we talk about community service, I know that, well, you know what? Let me do this. What role do you feel like a local business, as yourself or any other, could play in education in a whole? Like, we talk about the responsibility of the school to bring in entrepreneurs, to reach out to entrepreneurs, not just for like financial gain, but just to connect with them and give students something to hold on to. If you flip that, what could business owners do more to support schools, even small businesses?
I'll speak for my business, for example. I don't mind giving back. Because if you love what you do, it's not a problem to do it to help.
Yeah.
So I love what I do. If there's anybody going to school and getting bullied and teased because of how they looking by the head, I'll tackle that. Because I want them to feel confident in the classroom, and sometimes that can be a distraction because you may not have access to the things that this kid has access to, but that doesn't make you less of a person. So I give back, and they have actual school drives and stuff like well, not school drives, but like things at the beauty college.
Okay.
They used to do stuff like that where they're bringing in a group of shelter kids and and stuff like that, and we all tackled them.
Okay.
Yep.
When you met those shelter kids, did you have an epiphany? Did you have an emotion towards it? Is there something that you felt like you learned in those times?
Absolutely. It just made me feel like, people need to be a little bit more grateful. Got to be a little bit more grateful because these kids that's able to come to the salon on a regular base, they so used to it to the point to where they feel like they gotta have it.
Yeah.
When it's some kids that want that so bad, just to be pampered, somebody to scratch their scalp and rub their hair and make them look like somebody, so yeah, just gotta be grateful.
You stated, basically confidence, right?
Yeah.
And that's part of your job. I know when I come to your chair, I am not as confident as I am when I leave. I'm like, hey man, I be skipping around. I'm not gonna lie. I'll be like, I'm gonna just text her, and that's not the right thing to do. You're gonna go through her app like everybody else. This is only DC's. I text. However, we talk about confidence, and that goes from students to adults, and I think that adults forget that they were once a kid.
Right.
Do you see some of those childish-like tendencies in adults in your chair?
Absolutely.
Like, what are some of the things that you see? You say, your confidence is real low, or I can see your trauma from childhood.
Okay, so in the salon, you already know that big mirror that's in the front of you.
Yeah.
That's in front of you, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, people sit there and be like, "Oh, I look fat. Oh, I look tired." And I just be like, "Look here, we're not about to do all that.
Okay.
That's what you look like right now. Let's focus on, the process and getting through the session so you can look at yourself after.
Yeah.
We're not going to focus on the negative. Let's focus on the positive."
Yeah.
And that's kind of like my goal with that.
What's the craziest? All right, if you have any story that you would go to, like your go-to craziest story that happened in your salon that you would like to share, like I would like to hear that. Like, what's the craziest thing that happened in there?
I'm going to speak on this one client. So she was pregnant, and I don't care if you see this, but she was pregnant,
Yeah.
and she threw a little fit in the chair, and she wanted her hair curled a certain way, but she didn't know how to explain it. Didn't
Okay.
have no picture, no nothing. Just
Do a little bit of this and
yeah,
do a little bit of that.
yeah. So I'm like, what is that? So I'm trying to, satisfy her. So I'm going through every little, like this, like, trying to reassure, like,
Yeah.
I'm doing it right. And she made a comment and she was like, yeah, if you would have did like that the first time, you wouldn't be stressed. And I kind of was like, all right, Debria, think about this. I say, this ain't no corporate office. So I told her, I say, look, after this, you gonna be blocked because
Yeah.
I don't tolerate that. Because that's, like, my salon is my house.
Yeah.
So if you bring in bad energy, I don't have to deal with it. And
Yeah.
that's the beauty of it. It's not a corporate office. It's nobody you can call and tell, Debria did X, Y, and Z. Other than, TDLR, of course, but
Yeah, we're not calling them.
please don't call them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a little crazy for me because that's not my personality. But, some people you just gotta be straight up front with them and let them know, like, hey, I have this boundary and you're not gonna come in and make me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think that people want to have, like, they have high expectations for the outcome of a product,
Yeah.
but low for the person that's doing it.
Yeah. A lot of people want to look like Beyonce when they don't. To sum up what you kind of was saying.
That's true. If you want to look like Beyonce and you don't, just get over it.
Exactly.
That's not, you're beautiful in your own right.
And you can't get baby hair if you don't have edges.
And grow, well, can you grow edges?
If
It's
it
just-
ain't growing, it
if
ain't growing.
If they're not there, they're just not there.
Get a lace front. Hey.
Oh, man. Growing something not there. Speaking about that, when we talk about cultivating, like, kids, what role, no matter if you've been an educator or not, do you find that adults should play in kids' lives? Because I'm also of the belief that education is everywhere.
Right.
Okay. And you're an educator in your own right. Right. If you explain a process to another stylist, if you explain a process to one of your clients, even if you're just having a conversation with somebody that's interested in getting into the field, you are currently educating them. And I think that we should respect that skill set, because when we limit education to a classroom, a school building, I think that students are getting the low end. What responsibilities, just as adults, do we have to students?
I would say that more so just be patient with the kids, because sometimes it's okay to repeat things. I taught a lot class, and some people caught on like this,
Yeah.
and some maybe, took a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And it didn't mean that they were never going to get it. It just means that they probably learned different, or they probably need a different technique. And you, as a parent or adult or just a teacher, would know that if you pay attention, to, okay, this person is struggling with this. Okay, boom, now you got a different way. Let me try showing them this way and see if that'll work. And,
That's a teacher.
Yeah.
That's a teacher.
Yeah.
That's a teacher. And I think that anybody who's in entrepreneurship and they have a trade or whatever we want to call it, like, see yourself as a teacher if you have a role in explaining things to others. And that's something that I want to cultivate with 745.
Yeah.
I want everybody listening to think beyond the classroom when it comes to educating our students.
Right.
And I want people to be confident in the idea of calling themselves a teacher, even by trade, right?
Yeah.
And so that's that. So let me ask you this. Have you ever at any time felt like the school or education, like the campus that your babies went to or anything like that, treated you lesser than because of what you did for a living?
haven't had that experience myself.
Okay.
Personally, I haven't, because I'm so in and out. Like, I don't really, you know, get into that part as far as they kind of like just know what I do. Unless, you know, it has to be brought to the table because you maybe called me or, you know, and we talking. But other than that, no, I haven't really had that experience.
I'm glad you haven't, because I have heard those things, and that's
Yeah.
why I had to ask. You know, I've heard passively, you know, teachers and educators, you know, talking amongst themselves and say,
Yeah.
yeah, I think they mom or they dad do this, you know, whether it be driving trucks or whatever. And I didn't really like what I heard, because I'm like, what difference does it make?
Right.
You know, that child comes to school clean, well dressed, taken care of, grades are good, they're not homeless. I don't see the problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I
Yeah.
had to ask, because I've heard so many like sidebar conversations that depicted those parents as less than because they couldn't be where the teacher wanted them to be at the time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I would say that just by, you know, being surrounded by people that teach, I do kind of hear those type of conversations as well, because, you know, they'll have some that say, you know, I guess that they'll judge the student by how they come to school, like you basically was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of makes them, I guess, look in deeper on what that parent got going on, you know, because this child up in here, hair ain't combed, and,
Yeah.
you know, so the expectations are a little like,
Yeah.
yeah, they get a little higher.
All right, so I'm gonna move on to one more scenario, and then we'll see what you'll tell this student.
Okay.
So a high school senior walks into your salon. She tells you she's not going to college, and everyone around her is making her feel like she's failing. She loves doing hair and makeup, but she's starting to doubt herself. What's the first thing you're telling her?
I'm going to tell her to do her.
Do her.
Yes. I'm
Not
gonna tell
her,
to
not
do
hair. Do her.
Do her.
Do her.
Do her.
Yeah.
Because doing hair can lead into so many other, like, opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, whether you're doing hair on set, you can do one person hair if it pays your bills. You know, it's celebrity hair, like just anything. And I believe in just doing what you feel like you're passionate about.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what's gonna keep you motivated.
Yeah.
If you passionate about it, you'll keep wanting to go to work every day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, Debria is actually funny as well. And she won't tell you that. Like, when you sit in her chair, you get comfortable enough, she'll crack on you. She not going to let you make it. But she respectfully, of course.
Yes.
You know, when we talk about confidence and people leaving your chair, your office, a different way, how much is just your personality in itself impacting your clients? Not what you're trying to do,
Yeah.
not thinking about putting this way or saying this specific thing, just you as a person.
I think it would be because I'm naturally a hype man.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you getting up out that chair and, you know, some of them gonna hit that, that, you know,
Yeah.
so I'm like, yeah, you do that. Yeah, you look good.
Yeah.
You know, and it just amps them up, you know, and that's a good feeling because everybody ain't gonna amp you up. You
Yeah.
know, when you walk out, they'll see it, but they may not say nothing.
Yeah.
They might think it look good. They gonna say, who did your hair? And they gonna go find me.
Yeah.
But they never told you your hair was nice. But they about to come sit in my chair.
Mm.
So it be little stuff like that, you know. So I don't mind giving the compliment.
I ain't gonna lie, I don't be telling nobody.
You gatekeep.
Like, I be gatekeeping. Like, I've sent like a couple,
Yeah.
you know, because I know those
couple.
couple would gatekeep as well.
Literally, too.
And,
I'm
and
playing.
at first I was like, man, do I really want to put Debria on this show? Because, like, I get a lot of compliments on my locks, man. And I'm like, dang, man, if I put it on here, everybody going to be knowing my secret. And I don't like that.
It's okay. It's okay.
But, you know, for the culture, we're going to share because, you know, but your experiences with those people who you hype up, if we look at the ecosystem, right? Mm-hmm. They come from the house to you to the campus back home. And if they look like Raggedy Ann at work, that could really impact how they treat the kids at the campus.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So I just want everybody to know that education is so like deep, right? You know, it's not a pencil or a pen. It's not, you know, a notebook, internet. It's not just technology. It's all these moving parts, right?
Right.
That we have to consider. Because if you look good, you feel good, right? Or at least you feel better, because you don't look like Beyonce, so you feel better. You know what I'm saying? And then when you feel better, you can go to your job, wherever you work, whether it be at a school or corporate America, whatever, and you could perform higher because you're not worried about how you look.
Be nicer.
And this is the person that's sending you to work looking better. You understand?
Yes.
And so shout out to all the hairstylists, the entrepreneurs, those who do the makeup, the nails. You know, I think that we love y'all. And if you don't, then that's your problem. But you find yourself still I'm pretty sure you never thought that out of all the podcasts to be on, it would be an educational podcast.
Never.
And that's why we do this here at 7:45. All right, so we're getting towards the end here. But before we close, part of what we do at this table is support people who are creating those opportunities for themselves and serving their communities. So as you continue to build your business, I want you to tell everyone what you're building, or, you know, just the type of services you provide and how they can connect with you, book with you, like your social media handles. Like, this is your time. This is what you got.
So my Instagram is The Cure, and that's TheCure_ is in the cut, and that's ISINTHECUT. In the cut. Okay. Basically, you'll see my work on there. I have a link in my bio where you can book with me. I offer locks, as you can see. I do extensions. I do natural hair. I do a little bit of everything. Yeah. I just try not to braid anymore. Trying to preserve my hands. But you know, if it's like a trendy style and it's something, you know, I can get to quick, I'm here for it.
Yeah. So follow.
Yeah, follow, book.
And you know, maybe just maybe I can get y'all like a small discount code. We gonna check with that. I really didn't ask her. I ain't ask her before the show. But you know, like maybe like, you know, book me because of DC. I don't know, but maybe we'll
possible.
We'll see. But I want to thank you for coming to the table.
Yes.
Today's conversation reminded us that education isn't limited to a classroom, and education happens through mentorship, entrepreneurship, service, confidence, and relationships. For our listeners, remember this: not every path looks the same. Not every success story begins in the same place, but every pathway has purpose. Until next time, it's DC with the 745 podcast. For the classroom to the community, keep changing the game. AM or PM, it don't matter. Tune in. Peace.